All right, everyone. Ron DeSantis is completely right on this one. Link in the description. It's just a Twitter status, so I won't bother to archive it. Ron DeSantis coming out and saying property taxes are effectively a scam. He is fundamentally correct. For a long time, I have believed that property taxes should be outlawed in the United States, at least for first homes up to some degree of arbitrary value. Here's why. The United States was founded on the principle that people had independence, correct? They were capable of making their own decisions. This has been legally embattled on multiple levels, virtually to every constitutional amendment that's been passed. We have debates still today about this because it is a functional document that's capable of changing over time. It's capable of being reinterpreted, although I don't necessarily agree with reinterpreting most aspects of it. I think it was quite clear what the founders had in mind, at least for the first 10 amendments. That being said, property tax effectively takes away the fundamental right of a person to own their home, on which, originally back then they would have been farming generally or doing work of some kind or another, and turns them into a rental. The home is no longer owned, it is effectively rented from the state government. For instance, here in Vermont, unfortunately, there's a property tax. And while it's scaled based on wealth, which is a little bit better, in some states it's a little bit worse. That being said, you can't really form a homestead now, can you? It's not your homestead. It's the government's homestead. They're the ones that own it. You're just renting from them. You just happen to pay less rent, depending on your income, than a person would generally pay to a private rental in an apartment. It should be abolished. The very concept is abhorrent, actually. I believe that first homes, family homes, up to a certain level of value, depending on how many people are inhabiting it permanently, should be exempt from all forms of taxation. So, for example, there are three people permanently residing in this home. It's not an expensive home. It's not a bad one, but it's not exactly a McMansion or something like that. And it's a primary residence. It's not a second home or something like that. It should be exempt from taxation entirely, up to some, level of how much it's worth. And they do property reevaluations and shit like that, which is ridiculous. Property taxes are a scam. I would also say the income tax is a scam, and arguably not even constitutionally allowed, which is the funny part. There is still a legal debate over whether the income tax was technically speaking incepted properly at all, but they just ignored it and said, well, it seems like a good idea, so we're just going to go with it anyway. The government has a habit of doing this, ignoring the law. I love it when people say, well, Trump is ignoring the courts and going ahead with plans that have been ruled unconstitutional. This has happened continuously throughout the nation's history. You just don't know anything about US history. That's the whole fucking problem. People don't understand. Yeah, yeah, Lincoln suspending habeas corpus. That went over really well. Andrew Jackson told the courts to fuck themselves and said, "I'm not going to listen to you." Yeah, you've determined that this is illegal. Now enforce your decision. Quite literally. And things along those lines. It happens all the time. Bush ignored the Constitution repeatedly. Certainly so did Obama. The First and Fourth Amendments, especially. The liberal movement ignores the existence of the Second Amendment for the most part, and so on and so on forth. So saying that he's a unique dictatorial figure is completely wrong. It's completely hyperbolic in every possible way. DeSantis is right, though. Property taxes are pernicious. They should not exist. You should be able to own your home. And by own, I mean, hey, I do not have to pay anyone unless I'm getting the home maintained by a private third party or something like that, or I'm investing in landscaping it or something along those lines. I own my home. In a few states, there is no property tax. Kudos to those states. Unfortunately, it's only a small handful of them. In most states, you have a property tax, which means you're a renter. You're renting from the state. Now, under the 10th Amendment, the states technically they have a right to levy such a rental fee on people's property. It's not unconstitutional, but the very concept is so unethical and so backwards and so anti-American, I would argue, that it should be abolished. We should really be abolishing the property tax. Replace it with a consumption tax or something like that. Hey, you know, you did pay the landscaping firm, so there's a 5% surcharge or some shit like that. That would be acceptable. That would be a little bit better. Because then if a person decides, I'm just living on the property, they're already paying for electricity and gas and water and, well, maybe they have a private well, and all of these other things. My God, they already are, all out with regards to their property. Like, for example, the average millennial doesn't even have the capability of owning a home. If anything, you get four or five of them, they'll, grab up a home together and rent it or something like that. Where the United States has gone from everyone should have their home and, their own independence and so forth, their own space, to, hey, people have to throw in together and rent, and a handful of people are going to be, doing the rental shuffle and they'll have to get housing from them. And then good luck, asshole, good luck affording it because of Bidenflation, among other things. People are being squeezed right now, and it's fundamentally not right. That's about all. Peace out.